Already doing very well. All right, well, let's do this. First of all, I am Matt Weinhold, host of the Monster Party podcast and writer on Stand Against Evil. And welcome to the most anticipated panel in all of Comic-Con history. It's the Stand Against Evil Season 3 panel! So let's get through this. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to show you. We got a nice teaser of Season 3 that's coming up, and a Q&A with the cast and crew. But first of all, let's bring out our panel, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, he's the producer and star of Stand Against Evil. It's Stan himself, John C. McGinley. Janet Varney. And another welcome for Denise, the daughter we wish we all had. It's Deborah Baker Jr. And next, please welcome the future of law enforcement. It's Deputy Leo, Nate Mooney. And finally, please welcome my friend, mentor, and dark master, creator, executive producer, writer, and the man who plays Kevin on Stand Against Evil. It's Dana Gould. Throwing ammo.
A nice Rick Taylor entrance.
All right, that's everybody. Let's give them all a round of applause. So, Dana, right off the bat here, if you could do us a favor, before we go into kind of the teaser we're going to show, if you could just kind of catch us up with where we left off at the end of Season 2 of Stand Against Evil, presented by IFC.
I don't see how any of that is any of your business. We ended Season 2 with the portal to hell being left open, and the forces of the underworld let loose on Willard's Mill, and I didn't know how to get out of it at the time, but we did. And no, I'm being disingenuous. One of my favorite shows as a kid, one of my favorite movies as a kid was Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and what I loved about it was the world blew up, and then they did 3 more movies. Even battle, and I love. Having a seemingly insurmountable problem and then writing around it, and that's what we did. And I'm really, I love Season 1. I think Season 2 is better than Season 1, and I think Season 3 is better than Season 2. So.
We all concur.
So maybe we should just get right into this teaser then. No?
Yeah, this is we have a little teaser. I was just gonna, and then I'll introduce you to some people that are here. And yes, I was going to say Matt and I wrote one of the episodes this year.
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
Lots of spooning in the hammock, the Dana Gould hammock.
Came over to my house and we even did some writing. Yeah, we have a little teaser trailer. This is a new thing for Comic-Con. We're showing a teaser trailer. Well, defining teasing is really, really good.
All right, let's go for it.
Dude!
I'm not home.
Claire left the portal open, and now the land of the dead is inhabiting the land of the living.
If I become a vampire, can I still eat Pop-Tarts?
Willard's Mill has been on our radar for a while.
Hey! Why did you bite me?
This isn't about you.
Stop resisting!
A stand is where? Oh my God! Mommy, stop! Hi, how are you?
And wrestle.
How do you go about acting as Stan to make him more of a sympathetic character you can root for?
So when Dana brought me the pilot 3 years ago now, he didn't realize that one of the great things he put on the page, I had nothing to do with it, but what he put this damaged character on the page. And what I mean is that in the first 4 minutes we meet Stan, we realize that he's really a ship without a rudder. He's lost his wife for 27 years, he's lost his job for 27 years, and he's a damaged guy. And what I asked Dana, and what I pointed out to him that he had already put on the script is, can't we explore this guy's loss? And loss as a inherent to the human condition is something everybody can relate to. And I said, you're the one who put it on the page, and I want to excavate it, and I want to see where that goes, because that's what grounded me into. If he's just an insult to everybody, run-of-the-mill jackass, I don't want to do it. And so I had to ground him in something that I could relate to. And then Dana was good to his word. He said, we'll do that. And from the beginning of season 1 to Janet and I doing the finale of season 2 to a lot of the stuff that we got to explore this year, Dana has grounded Stan in loss, and that's enabled me to, I mean, because this guy can't fight witches, you know, he's a jackass. And so I wanted to know what can he do, and what he can do is try to retrace his steps and find out how he got here. And so Dana kind of crafted that character.
Yeah, and some of those edges, it seems like they're just kind of a shield for kind of what he's going through underneath all that, too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right, Janet, if I could ask you, now, Evie and Stan have been through a lot during the series. Yeah. They've gone through a lot. And how do you think the relationship has grown? Like, do you think your character has been a positive influence on Stan, or you just keep trying to make that dent?
I don't know. I think, you know, I was thinking about this earlier. The way that she's introduced to Stan is rooted in exactly what Johnny was just talking about, which is, you know, this idea that she sees him at his most defensive, but yet at his most vulnerable when she realizes that he hasn't gone home since his wife died. And so that sort of implants early, and I think the more time they spend together, the more it's sort of less about how can I get away from this person, or I can't believe I'm stuck with this person, and more like, yeah, I'm stuck with this person. But, okay. You know, like it just sort of, it's a reluctant love, but I think they do become family. And, you know, as much as Evie enjoys hanging out with Denise, ultimately, you know, it could be argued that Stan's her best friend. So at some point, you got to just lean into that and recognize that. And I think in season 3, she's held up less by sort of fighting against her relationship with Stan. And if anything, what's, you know, painful and what was painful at the end of season 2 was thinking you got to a certain point with someone as much as you might be driven crazy by them, and then find out they were keeping a secret from you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, while it is the same secret, there is now something else that Stan puts between them. And so that's what she kind of has to contend with again, is this sort of like, oh, I thought I would be someone that you would tell, you know. He's got some work to do still. He's got 1 or 2 issues still.
As we all do.
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
Deborah.
Yeah.
We love Denise.
Oh, thank you. I love her too.
Oh my God. She really is the daughter that I wish I had.
Oh my goodness.
And now, I feel like we just scratched the surface of Denise. If you were going to write a story about Denise, what would that story be? What is that thing that you want to tell about Denise that the world needs to know?
Oh my God.
You have 15 seconds.
You know, Denise, I would say, like, if you were just on maybe a hidden camera show, or just had her own reality TV show, would we give her a reality television show? I mean, it'd be non-stop entertainment. The fact that she just finds, the joy and just glee in everything, in this very dark world that we play in. Yeah, I think her story would be this, like, weird fairy tale, but a reality television show.
I love it, yeah. And she,
Like, we could have, like, just Denise and Jay Wow together, like, maybe just little Jersey Shore.
I'm going to start that channel after this panel immediately.
Absolutely.
All I want to see.
We're all gonna watch.
So Nate, as Deputy Leo, he seems to have Leon, oh my God.
If you think I should drop the end, though.
Maybe it would shorten the episodes a little bit. Maybe fit in an extra commercial. I don't know if IFC is watching. But definitely...
You wrote one of the scripts. You know his name.
It was bound to be a problem in my tiny brain. But Deputy Leon has an unusual approach to law enforcement. How would you describe that approach?
Soft.
Do you see him ever, trying to be sheriff, becoming sheriff someday?
I think that's a natural progression. I don't think any deputy aspires to be a sheriff, I think. And I think Leon's just waiting for Willard's Mill to be released from his curse before he puts in the application.
Yeah. Well, I certainly want to see. I want to see this happen. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Dana.
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
I play Kevi.
What's that? Don Gold. I have some questions for you. Now, as you watch the show, and there seems to be some similarities and some themes here. So you've got practical effects, you've got an old sheriff's car, and you've got Stan has an old car.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a method to this madness, that there was a tone you were looking for, maybe?
Oh, yes. For no reason, for no discernible reason, I wanted the show to feel like an early 70s drive-in horror movie. I wanted it to feel like Last House on the Left, or Hills Have Eyes, or those early 70s, like When Michael Calls, what is that other one? Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
One of the greatest titles ever for a movie.
Yeah, it is. So it was interesting because we came up with this at the same time they were doing Stranger Things, but Stranger Things hadn't come out yet. But a lot of people immediately said, oh, it's retro, so it'll be like the mid-'80s. Like, no, we're going back a whole generation before. And I just like the idea of it having a weird, sort of weirdly timeless feel, that they have old cars and console televisions, but they also have cell phones. when it's required, and just to kind of create like a Twilight-y kind of environment that the show could have. Because to me, it always felt like a scary episode of The Night Gallery, which is much scarier in your memory than
True. Yeah.
Oh my God, Arnie Johnson is the devil.
In floodlighting.
Exactly. But yeah, I wanted it to kind of feel like an early 70s drive-in movie.
Okay. And I think it really works. But I'm a little biased.
Yeah. You're super.
My lips are on your ass. Okay.
and other poems. But one thing I want to introduce some people that you saw in the trailer and that work on the show. As you did see, we this season, in addition to having, we do two things. We have these mythology episodes. It's very much like the X-Files. Like, you'll have a mythology episode that carries through the general arc of the season. And then we have one-off Monsters of the Week episodes. And in this season, I felt like the show had been on long enough. We've earned the audience's trust, and we really kind of indulge our sort of fanboy muscles a little bit. So we do have an episode where some vaguely familiar state agents from the New Hampshire State Department of Paranormal Phenomena show up, and they may or may not be tagged by a reporter in a seersucker suit with a Panama hat. But one of the agents, Agent Nesbitt, is played by a really talented actress named Valerie Tossi, who's here. Valerie, should stand up. Mick Ignis is our sort of he's the regular character. He's the regular actor from our cast that you never see because he is in 9 out of 10 of those heavy rubber suits. But especially you'll see in the first episode. It's really the first episode of the season. Mick's performance is astounding. It's like a beautifully tragic silent movie. I really owe him a lot. Mick Ignis is here. You stand up, Mick. You may or may not have seen our salute to the Mothra twins. I thought, well, it takes place in a small town in New Hampshire. Let's do a Godzilla episode. And we have them, Vera and Barbara Duffy are here, who play the Mothra twins. For those of you who have to stand against Evil Lunchbox, that was designed by Mark Tavares right there in the hat. And lastly, in terms of just celebrities that are here, I don't know if anybody here is a Star Trek fan. I don't know, would there be a Star Trek fan? If you avail yourself of the excellent podcast, Mission Log, Ken Ray is right there. Stand up, Ken. You're a hot celebrity. Ken pointed out the brilliant aspect of Star Trek, that the prime directive is we don't interfere with other cultures until we need something from them. Jarkon is a lie. Give us the Xenite.
Or just do it and we'll work it out later. Yeah. Spin the wheel of directive. Who knows where it will land? Now, Dana, since you were touching on some of the plot elements that we're going to see in season 3, any of the other ones you want to talk about? Maybe, like, I don't know. There's a word called nubbins that comes to mind.
Yeah, we again, as I said, like this season, we really got to indulge our muscles. I'm friends with a really brilliant director named Mike Mendez, who directed a movie called Big Ass Spider and a really great movie called Don't Kill It. I don't know if there was, Mike produced a movie I was in called Tales of Halloween, and he had written a short film for an anthology called Invasion of the Nubbins, which was basically sort of a Meet the Feebles salute. It was like evil puppets, and the movie didn't come together. And I said, well, I'll buy it, and we can rewrite it and rework it to an episode of the show. And that's the Nubbins episode, which is, I think the two craziest episodes we've done are this season, both are in this season. And some people don't like seeing puppets get their brains blown out. I happen to like it.
Those people are dead inside.
Yeah. No, you find, we've, and you get to direct, like, John was in Platoon. And I'm going, John, just bite his shoulder off at the joint and go put a little bone sticking out of it.
Felt bone is still terrifying.
Yeah. And there's a great scene. You'll just have to wait till it's on, but he's got his arm off and he's just like crawling across. Horrible, agonized, mangled puppet. And Rob Cohen, who was directed the show this season, I've known forever. I first met him when I crashed in his office at the Ben Stiller show, which was in color. And he and I have worked together a billion times, and it was great to have Rob on because we have the exact same sensibility, and it's just having it's like having a free writer on the set. Rob would just come up with stuff. There's this one scene where I was going down a list of places I was looking for Denise, and I was like, I'm just doing it from the back of my mind, but I was like, I went to all of Denise's old hiding spots. That big pile of wigs behind the church, that building with no windows where they make old people sew. And then I was kind of running out of stuff, and then Rob would just go behind the camera, that bridge goats are afraid of. Yeah, that bridge goats are afraid of. It was a pleasure.
We want to see that reality television show.
Now,
one of the abandoned car wash was the abandoned car wash, that big pile of wigs behind the church, that building with no windows where they make old people sew. That was what it was.
But now forget about the special guests. Now you guys as a unit, 3 seasons now. And what about your interaction? Do you guys like hang out? Or
all the time.
All the time, right?
All the time. It's like summer camp.
Is this stand headquarters or?
100%. I make them all be my best friends. We go and have ice cream and we go on bicycle rides. We go to museums. I make them all come.
Yeah. When
I have a great time.
When I think about shooting the show, 2 words come to mind: free time.
Saturdays.
Oh, they have free time.
Now, John, it's funny because doing some writing on the show, especially hanging out with Dana, and we're going over stand lines, it can get almost addictive where you get to a place where you're almost talking like Stan. and it's really fun. And I wonder, just in your everyday life, does that ever happen to you, where all of a sudden you're in a situation, someone frustrates you, and all of a sudden you're Stan Miller?
Well, I'm so different than Stan that, I mean, the character that Dana created, it borrows liberally from Archie Bunker and Sterling Hayden and Jason Robards and those archetypes. And I'm acting up there. And so, no.
Good.
Plus, I'm in a household where it's my son Max and I against 4 women, and so
oh yeah, right, yes, always, yeah.
And so if I pulled any of that Stan bullshit in my house, I'd be
bounce, motherfucker. It's funny because Stan mentioned, John mentioned all the people that influenced Stan. It's just my dad. And I remember one point I was at my home with my then wife and our daughter, and my father said to my ex-wife, completely unoblivious, "It's amazing. Dana goes down on the floor with the kids. He changes their diaper and everything. I had 6 kids. I've never touched a diaper in my life." My ex-wife looked at me. Just a different generation.
Hey, Janet, acting question. Hi, Janet. Hey, how are you? How are things going? Yeah. When it comes to acting and the character of Evie, how much actually comes from the script, comes from you, or comes from like kind of exploring it while you're acting, like inhabiting the character on the set?
Well, this particular show is a unique situation because Dana did tell me in advance of writing it that he was writing a part that was for me, that he felt I could play, and I think he has this weird idea that I'm cooler than I am and that I'm like more athletic than I am because he's seen me wear a bike helmet from time to time. And in the comedy world, that means you're like a hardcore athlete.
Which is odd in retrospect because you run a library at the time.
You go outside.
Yeah. So yeah, he sort of told me in advance that he sort of thought of her as kind of a Harrison Ford figure, like can be snarky, certainly gets to say funny things, but is also, you know, reacting to a crazy environment and kind of gritting her teeth and getting through it, and, you know, sort of not letting it completely sidetrack her and derail her altogether. So this is a very specific situation because I came in knowing what he had in mind and what he thought I could do, and some of that just means like keeping my voice not in the high register that sometimes I'm talking when I'm just being me and me.
I know it well.
I'm so sorry. Are you saying you have a high register voice? Is that what you're saying, Janet?
No, listen. You know, Deborah, in every body there are many voices.
Yes.
Some can trigger fax machines and
Well, see, and that's another thing too, is that Denise has this kind of childlike quality to her.
Yeah.
And yet, when it comes to, you know, when things really hit the fan and Stan, you can really up it and then become pretty much a badass.
Well, my dad is Stan.
Well, that's true. So it's like you always have that little grenade in the back of your head that's waiting to go off.
Yeah, some parts of me I came from him, so hopefully I have some badassness in me. And you know what? In season 3, you get to see it.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
I just want to point out that Claire was more of a badass than Stan, so you're also your mother's daughter.
That's true.
That's true.
There is an episode in this season where you stab how many people? 6?
Yeah.
But it's real cute still.
Yeah.
Some people just don't listen.
So, Nate, Stan is cursed, Evie is cursed. Your only curse seems to be animal magnetism. So, how do you go about fitting Leon into this world? Like, where do you, how do you kind of find, you know, do you read the script, you decide, you know, kind of the place that you fit into this supernatural world?
No, I've never read a script. Dana usually just tosses out my jokes for me, and I try my best to execute those. No, I think it's like what Janet was saying. When you have that uniform, you know, and I put that uniform on, it is such. I mean, you like stand up, show everybody how amazing you are.
You are amazing.
Wow.
She also has the horse head that she dances in the scene.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to say? Is that ours? There you go.
Wow. I mean, she could probably speak to this, but it feels great to wear. I noticed that hers is a cotton blend though.
That must help.
Yeah, we wear full polyester.
But in your defense, you wear full polyester, but it's only Atlanta in the summer.
When a tropical storm system is rolling through.
Did you know that your legs make their own gravy? Sign that!
That is a great costume, by the way. Yeah. In my house, that with the uniform and the mask, that's what we call the marriage saver. That's, yeah, it's good.
It would be great if your legs make their own gravy had one very simple gesture in sign language, which is like.
So, why don't we, at this point, open things up to the audience for audience questions? I think we've got a mic all set up.
Yeah, just go up to the mic, form a nice
And if
quiet
you
line.
have a question, please come up.
On your way out,
And please focus.
please avail yourself of a steering and steel pin on your way out. They'll
Yes.
be up here, and you can just leave whatever money behind you feel is appropriate.
Hi there, guys.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming. Thank you guys all for coming. Wow.
You touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to maybe if you could expand on it. I mean, the characters in the show are so unique and so quirky. Is there any particular person, living, dead, actor, relative, that you each sort of use as an inspiration to create these very quirky and unusual characters?
Am I? Okay. I don't know. I feel like Denise is a lot of Deborah Baker Jr. Shocker. We're different as well. But I think she also just has a lot of Lucille Ball-isms as well. I love her. And Carol Burnett. Yeah. Those are my choices. Did I pass?
They're very lovely. Yes, yes.
I do think of Harrison Ford. Ever since Dana said that, I was like, I gotta lean into that hard, because I'll never get that compliment again.
And Jane is also a terrible pilot, so that works.
Well, thank you.
He is one of our wealthiest and therefore best pilots.
I really like in the show how you all kind of came in missing something, with Stan missing his wife. Evie was like briefly mentioned that she was divorced and with the daughter, and then we kind of meet Deb's character later, and then Nate's character with his weird dating life. So I'm wondering how much of you, Deb and Nate, you think you'll get to explore, like, kind of finding, you know, someone else to kind of be your other half, like with Evie and Stan. They've kind of complemented each other in their losses and in their hurt. Do you think, I know you've both found friends in Evie, but like with dating and, you know, with all the different hobbies, it seems like your character keeps taking to kind of fill the void. Like, what do you think is in store for you guys?
I think there's some really interesting things you get to see Denise do, and I've been talking all morning to people about how you get to see a different layer of the onion of each of the characters, and you really get to dive a little bit deeper, and I think we all grow a lot more this season as individuals. Not just because of the ice cream that I ate all the time. Also happened. But yeah, you get some relationship stuff happens for Denise, which I think is really cool. Maybe even some love triangles.
This season definitely completes an arc of the show. It definitely, where the show would go from here would be the beginning of a different chapter. Characters get fuller, and as I've said, like, Stan Miller, if he has termites, will burn his house down. Yes, you've gotten rid of the termites, but now you have a bigger problem. That's his essence.
All right.
I have my husband to thank for that he's not here, but this is his favorite show on TV.
Oh.
Absolutely, hands down. He's from New England. He's from New Hampshire.
Ah.
So I came home one day and he's like, I found this new show. And we started watching it, and it's incredible. I love the balance that you create with the comedy and then the emotional issues. It's fantastic. So
I love your New England accent.
Thank you. I'm a transplant. I got a Yankee heart. And on that note, I lived in New England for about 9 years. I know all of these characters. Seriously, no, honestly, and it's that you capture it so beautifully. But my question is, what has been your favorite demon/monster to fight? And are we going to see any more goats?
The goat demon, the Baphomet?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Baphomet is my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's tough. That's really tough.
But my second place would be the baby demon.
I'm going to guess the one that Janet doesn't like was the one that vomited 12 gallons of goo up your nose.
Also Nick. Also Nick.
At 4 in the morning in a swamp in Georgia.
We made it through. Nick and I made it through. I love the character, another character that plays this season that I think we saw a little bit of. His name's Forrest, and he has the horns that come this way.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing, terrifying. It's distracting that Scott Adsit is standing in line waiting
Scott
to do a question. I hate to upstage the demon conversation, but he also plays a demon in the show, so I guess he's my favorite demon.
Maybe you have time for one more? 2 more?
Dana, when will fan merchandise be available?
As soon as Mark makes it. We have some, we are talking about merch. I want it to be decent. And because of the limited run, because we only do 8 episodes, it's not physically on, so they feel like to generate the merch, but we have lunch boxes, and we have another idea for something, and how do I phrase this properly? That's not something I'm not thinking about. That is not something I'm not planning on making available. Welcome to Double Negative Theater.
All righty.
Thank you.
I like to. My favorite demons were the Monster Twins.
All right.
Do you ever have guest stars that whose characters die and then you bring them back?
Unfortunately, when their on-set nickname is Grabby McGrabberson, Scott was the red gentleman in the trailer. Which I would think we should maybe, before we leave, we should show the trailer one more time.
Yeah.
Scott, you know what? Prosthetics, you can change into a whole nother person, so you can always come back.
Tell Dana. But no, everybody can.
Dana.
Everybody can come back. You can always come back.
Dude! I'm not home.
Claire left the portal open and now the land of the dead is inhabiting the land of the living.
If I become a vampire, can I still eat Pop-Tarts?
Willard's Mill has been on our radar for a while.
Hey! Why did you bite me?
This isn't about you.
Stop resisting!
A stand is where? Oh my God!